Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about squatting barefoot. And in order to do that, I want to give you a little bit of context. So if you haven't been paying attention to my recent videos, you'll know I was in Seattle all week for work a while back. I came home, I went away on a little vacation to Sesame Place with the family, and work has just been generally busy, and I haven't been able to train for the better part of around 2 weeks. And for me, that's something that drove me crazy. And I'm sure like many of you, you guys love being in the gym as I do. And while the break was well warranted and probably well deserved, I can't tell you how eager I was to get back in the gym. So if you're ever losing motivation, take a little time off if you need to, and you'll probably see what I mean, where you just get that itchy feeling where you just have to get back and train, especially if you're a creature of habit like myself. So even though it was an unfortunate turn of events which led me to not train, it is kind of a blessing in disguise because I'm so invigorated to get back in the gym, and that's what I'm doing. But as part of that, I actually got injured while at Sesame Place. Yes, you heard that right. In the land of Big Bird, Grover, Elmo, and the Count, little old me got hurt, which always tends to be the case with anyone with powerlifting. At least in my situation, it seems like you always get hurt doing the most random things. So for instance, we were about to go down a water slide in part of the water park, and my son took a big dump in his diaper and he needed to be changed. So I took him down the stairs, which were made of concrete, and I caught the back of my heel on the steps and busted it open, and it was bleeding all over the place. So my day of fun was done. But as part of that, it's been a real pain in the ass to heal my heel because of its location. So if I'm to wear shoes, it just tends to rub against my scab and it just tends to bleed and it doesn't heal up. So I've been really trying to wear flip-flops when I can. Luckily I work from home, so it's not big of a deal. And when I've been training, I've been going barefoot. And normally for other things like deadlifts, that's not usually such a big departure from how I normally train, but for squats, it's something that's new for me. But as part of that, it's been really interesting to train the last couple of sessions without shoes on for squats, because for me, one of the cues I always hear a lot recently with squats is, digging your toes in, spreading or rooting into the ground. I've never really been able to do that when I've trained with shoes, whether they be flats or heeled shoes. So training without shoes has given me that opportunity. And it's an interesting thing with me with squats. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, I bounce back between regular flat-soled shoes and heeled shoes. And for me, there's not that much of a difference. My best squat in heels is 270 kilograms or about 596 pounds. My best lift in flats is 272.5 kilos or 601 pounds. So it's really kind of on point with each other. I can go back and forth easily, but squatting barefoot is a whole new beast to me. And it's just something I've never really been comfortable doing, mostly because at the time of training in commercial gyms, it's just something gross. And not to mention you can't wear bare feet, and it doesn't really make sense. You have to wear shoes when you compete in a competition, so it just makes sense to train that way. But given the circumstances, it's been really interesting because I've finally been able to kind of understand that cue a little bit better of rooting into the ground. Now with me, I do have a little bit of oddly shaped feet where my big toe and the toe right next to it tend to be my more dominant ones, and I have more control over those. My pinky and outermost second toe is pretty much useless to me. Probably chop them off and not know a difference. So I think part of that is it's kind of leading me to squat inward some, so you still see my ankles caving in a little bit of where they are. So I could fix that in a couple of ways. Number one, work on my mobility and shoving my knees out. Maybe it means I need to narrow my stance a little bit. But regardless, it actually feels really good squatting without shoes because, again, I'm really kind of digging into the ground, which I've never really been able to do before. And although I won't keep this up long term because, again, from a competition's sake, it doesn't make sense to train barefoot all the time unless you're Dennis Cornelius and you're squatting like 900 pounds, and then you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But I will transfer back to shoes once my heel heals up. But I think hopefully that the carryover from the cue now will be more ingrained because I now know what to expect and what that feels like. So it's going to be interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Do you squat barefoot? Do you find it helps? It hurts? In the meantime, as always, thanks so much for watching and stay big.